Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have something very important to share with all of you. With all the negativity going on around us, where people are forgetting how to treat each other with love, warmth, and compassion, I thought this is the right time to share this poem with you. Moreover, it's high time we share something good, isn't it, for a change? This is called a parable and it's called The Cold Within. It's written by the famous Irish American poet James Patrick Kinney. After you read the poem, think about the message behind it and feel free to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. The poem was written during the African American Civil Rights Movement, and the poet was outraged to find such inhumanly discriminatory attitudes of people at that time. The poem makes us question our perception towards others. How often do we rise above our egos? How foolish are we when we give in to our own prejudices, which are so deep rooted? The poem is a constant reminder as to how we should always try to overcome these personal demons and rather adopt an egalitarian view. Egalitarianism means a political philosophy that emphasizes on equality. It focuses on equal treatment of everyone across gender, religion, ethnicity, social and economic status, and beliefs. It is really amazing to find as to how, after so many years, this poem is still a timeless classic. Coming to the poem. Six humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story is told. Their dying fire in need of logs, but the first one held hers back, for of the faces round the fire she noticed one was black. So I'll be dividing the video into two parts. In this video, I'll be describing and analyzing certain portions of the poem, and I'll be proceeding with the remaining portion in the next video. Now, coming to this poem. The poem was set in Ohio. Ohio was a place where these blacks were tortured to the core. They were hated. They were deprived of their fundamental rights. They were subjected to n number of, inhumanity. Now, we find these six human beings being trapped in the grip of a severe weather condition. The poem opens up on a very dramatic note. Bleak and bitter cold. So the poet has heard this tale somewhere and he is recounting the story again. It's a kind of a folklore. Look at the word choice here. The poet has used the term humans. He's trying to emphasize on the idea that as humans or as species, we are all equal in the eyes of the creator. And our creator doesn't differentiate us. Our creator doesn't demarcate us on the basis of anything. There's just one race, and that's the human race. So six humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story is told. So he's recounting this tale, he's recounting the story that he's heard somewhere, and each of these people is carrying a log of wood. And there is no escape from this situation. They are trapped. There is no means of escape from the situation. Now, coming to the second stanza, which I had already read before. Their dying fire in need of logs, but the first one held hers back. So, you know what he's trying to say. The poet is introducing the first character here. But before that, he's describing the fire. What's the state of the fire? It's on the verge of dying. It's on the verge of extinction. So this woman is sitting around the fire And suddenly she gets to see somebody who is a black, and she immediately decides not to contribute her log of wood into the fire. She doesn't want the black man to benefit in any way of the situation, even at the cost of her own life. So this is an example of sheer racism. And this woman, she has failed to overcome the sin of racial discrimination. This is a sin that she's committed, and there is no escape from it. She has to pay for that, but she is totally oblivion of that. She doesn't know that. So this racist attitude kind of poisons her mind, and this racist outlook kind of backfires on her later as the poem progresses. Coming to the third stanza. The next man, looking across the way, saw one not of his church, and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. So we find the second character here. Who is the second character? He's a man, he's sitting around the fire, and he is also carrying a log of wood. Suddenly he gets to see another man who was sitting right across him, but unfortunately he did not belong to his church. What does it mean? They had different religious beliefs, they had different religious ideologies. So this man was intolerant towards other religion. It's an example of religious discrimination. He was holding this log of wood. He knew very well that he could save each other from being perished in the cold, but rather they thought of not overcoming their prejudices, not overcoming these beliefs, and it's better to die and perish rather than you know uh, overcoming such prejudices. This is an excellent example of religious bigotry. So religious bigotry, a bigot is a person who is a stubborn man, someone who is obstinate and completely intolerant towards others' perspectives or others' religion. So he's a religious bigot here. And he too has committed the same sin of not being able to overcome the discrimination. So the next man, looking across the fire, saw one not of his church, and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. Birch refers to the wood of the birch tree. So you can relate this very well. We have seen how India has literally descended into a state of complete intolerance and bigotry, isn't it? The last year on social media, I came across this post. This video was a very short video was posted. This event took place somewhere in Jamshedpur, where this 21-year-old Muslim boy was accosted. He was accused of stealing a motorbike, and how he was beaten black and blue, he was tortured, he was oppressed. But most importantly, he was compelled to chant Jai Shri Ram and Jai Hanuman. See how he was tortured by the mobs. So we could understand that these people who are subjected to these discriminations, they will continue to face this avalanche. Nothing can be really done. So my agenda or my intention of sharing this poem today is because I feel we can inspire each other as individuals. We can bring about the change our society needs. This is a very powerful poem. This is a very relevant poem. Coming to the next stanza. The third one sat in tattered clothes and gave his coat a hitch. So what does it mean? We have the third character here, and he was sitting in tattered clothes. Tattered means worn out, dilapidated condition. So he was evidently a very poor man, and he was sitting in these tattered clothes. He was in rags. He gave his coat a hitch. So the very word giving his coat, the very phrase giving his coat a hitch means he was evidently trying to adjust the coat closer to his body. So what does that indicate? That indicates that perhaps he was feeling the cold much more than everyone because of his tattered clothes, because he was poor. So the third one sat in tattered clothes and gave his coat a hitch. So this line is often misinterpreted in any way. So, but then literature is again subject to multiple interpretations. So my interpretation would be because he was feeling very cold, he was trying to adjust the coat closer to his body to get enough warmth. And because of the inadequate clothing, he was feeling very cold. And he was feeling cold all the more, much more like the others, unlike the others. So the next one, or the third one, sat in tattered clothes and gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put into use of the idle rich? So he thinks it's quite natural on his part, isn't it? Because he has been exposed, he has been subjected to class demarcation. We're talking about classism here. We have spoken about racism. We have spoken about religious bigotry. Now we are talking about classism. How a man is demarcated on the basis of his economic or social status. So he is thinking, he too is holding a log of wood. He wants to save himself. But at the same time, he sees a rich man sitting across him and he feels that if I share, that will benefit the idle rich. So he calls the rich idle. Why do you think so? He's full of bitterness. He's full of envy that the rich has accumulated so much money, whereas these poor people have always been exploited. So that is one of the reasons why he is so much of envy and jealousy, and he's filled with bitterness, and he hesitates, and he too fails to overcome this feeling. So remember in the second stanza, I was talking about this phrase, their dying fire in need of logs. This is a very important symbol here. The dying fire. It could also be used as a metaphor, indirect comparison. What does the poet try to say here? Just like the fire was on the verge of extinction, similarly, humanity is at stake. Humanity is also going to be extinct very soon if not taken care of. So the fire here is a symbol of the common goodness, the common humanity, the various humanitarian ideals that we have, and the various logs that we are holding, the various characters are holding. These logs are symbolic of the various resources that these people have, which they could use to prevent their humanity from getting extinct. They could have used the logs wisely. They could have all contributed the logs together, and they could have saved each other from getting perished in the extreme cold. But then they refused to do that. They were so overcome with bitterness. They were so overcome with prejudices. These prejudices are deep rooted. They are instilled in us the moment we are born, be it gender stereotyping, be it any sort of demarcation. So this poem time and again reminds us as to how we should try to eliminate these stereotypes from our society. Each one of us is different, isn't it? We have our differences. We have our different perspectives, opinions. We have our weaknesses. We have our perfections. But it is our differences that make us so unique. But these differences shouldn't be the one which would divide us. So the poem is trying to make us feel aware that if we continue to be divided, then national integration might be a dream unrealized. We will fail to achieve it, and we will fail as a society. So I'll keep it till here. In the next video, I'll be proceeding from the next stanza. I hope it was useful to you. Do ponder over it, and my ICSE students will definitely benefit from it. If you have any query or questions, please post it in the comment section below. Till then, take care and do not forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. Have a nice day.